being here. We have a pre-gavel presentation this morning. As many of you know, the Formula E Grand Prix at Portland International Raceway is this Saturday. And this morning we have Alberto Longo from Formula E to address the City Council. We're very grateful for you being here again today. Alberto is the co-founder and chief championship officer of Formula E. Portland is a leading city in adopting and innovating EV technology, of course, and we have a thriving green tech industry located here in the city of Portland, and it goes without saying that we have a deep love of sports. Portland is just the fourth U.S. city to host Formula E's Global Race Series, and we look forward to a long-term partnership with this rapidly growing tour. With that, I'll turn this over to Commissioner Ryan for any introductory remarks before we recognize Alberto.
Well, thank you, Mayor. It's a wonderful to have you both here. I had the pleasure of meeting you when you just got off the plane on Sunday night, and it must be because you're from Spain. You just came off the plane with so much energy, jet-lagged and all, and we had a delightful visit. In that visit, I know nothing about motorsports, I should just say. I'm a big sports ball fan, but once it gets to the vroom vroom stuff, like, did I just say vroom vroom? I just don't really know what's going on. But I was sold when I heard it was innovative because that's the E movement, electrification. And I was just taken with your creativity, your innovation. And also when I heard where you're doing this, London, Berlin, Monaco, Rome, Sao Paulo, Cape Town, Mexico City, and Portland. We're usually not in the company of such mega big cities internationally. So I also think it says a lot, and I'm very grateful that you chose our city to do this. And so I think once I caught on to what was really happening, I just wanted to see you come here and share a little bit more. And Jim, your work at Sport Oregon to lure this to Portland is a big deal. And so I just hope that those that usually don't go to a car racing sporting event would see this for what it is, which is the innovation, and really because we are internationally known as a city of innovation in the green economy, and this is why it's a perfect match. So I look forward to being out there on Saturday, and welcome to the dais. And I hope you're having a wonderful time in the big metropolis city of Portland, Oregon.
Absolutely. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here today. It is, as you can imagine, a great honor, not only for Formula E, but also for me personally to be here today in, with such a distinguished, quorum and forum. My name, as you said, is Alberto Longo. I'm the founder of Formula E, company that we started almost, 10 years ago. But let me just introduce you a little bit to what Formula E is today. Formula E is the only full electric racing series in the world. We are the only sport property which is awarded with the ISO on sustainability. We are also the only sport property which is net zero emission since inception. But most importantly, or equally importantly, we are an amazing racing series. We produce a lot of show, a lot of spectacle out there when we go and racing. Our racing is very close racing. We have the best lineup of drivers, or one of the best lineup of drivers in the world of motorsport. But we also have, big manufacturers that support the championship. Brands like Jaguar, like Porsche, like DS, like Nissan, Maserati, McLaren. All those cars are going to be racing in the streets of Portland, hopefully on Saturday. Formula E is also broadcast in more than 150 countries around the world. That's free-to-air and live TV. And that will mean that on Saturday, probably, we will be followed and seen and watched by more than 40 million people around the world. So why we have been so successful up to today, in only 9 years of history. It's quite pretentious, for me to say that, but I actually believe it. I'm the founder. What am I going to say, obviously? But we promote electromobility. We're inclusive. We're the most entertaining form of motorsport out there. We race in the center of the biggest cities in the world. Commissioner just mentioned it. Just to mention a few that you forgot: Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Hyderabad in India, You mentioned Cape Town, Sao Paulo, Monaco, Berlin next year. We have just announced Tokyo as well, who will be part of the calendar, and obviously Portland. And why, obviously, Portland? For me, that's the question that I get more, question every time that a journalist come or call me or ask for an interview. And first of all, because we share the same values on green economy. You just said it. Portland has been awarded also as the most greenest city in the U.S. So basically, we have a lot in common. You have 3 mega franchises, sport franchises in the city. 2 of them soccer, female, male. The other one, which bring me good memories, Portland Trail Blazer. Arvidas Sabonis was playing here, and he was also playing for my team in Spain, Real Madrid. So it is. We have been fan of the Portland Trail Blazers since a long time ago, and also it has a huge heritage in motorsport. There are races here, Indy, NASCAR. That racetrack, for whatever reason, well done, by the way. It's the only racetrack in the U.S. that hosts 3 international events like Indy, NASCAR, and Formula E. So that's well done to everybody involved on that, because it's fantastic. Then I also wanted to state that the economical impact for the city that Formula E is going to leave in the city is in the north of $100 million. The spend of Formula E is around $20 million on just one-day event. And most of this money, obviously, it will go to local entities, manpower. We hire more than 2,000 people to produce the event that hopefully all of you are going to see on Saturday. And just to finish, the good news is that we have, announced already the race in Portland for next season, for our season 10 of the calendar. This is subject to, obviously, ratification in the World Motorsport Council, which is going to happen in October. But we are hopefully going to be back. There are a few things that we need to sort out, but hopefully we will be back in June next year. And I'm just looking forward to the race on Saturday, to see all of you. And again, it's a great honor to be here and to have the chance to speak to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Jim, you're welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I hope you are too. No, this is, I don't need to repeat everything that's been said by all of you, but a big opportunity for our city. He said in the U.S., we're actually the only track in the world to host the 3 top series in the world of racing. So pretty incredible where PIR has come from an economic catalyst for our region just in the last 6 years, because before that we didn't have a major global race for 11-year period. So to see a city park hosting this, and especially in North Portland, and what it does for our community, tremendous. I think the number of, you're going to see hear a lot of accents on the street this week, probably upwards of 3,000 foreign guests. Traveling primarily from the continent, Europe, and some from Asia. That's a number that's going to grow next year. We only had a 6-month runway to really introduce Portland to the world, but very excited about the lift that we're getting from a tourism standpoint, especially foreign tourists. So pretty spectacular opportunity for us as a city. Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership as well.
Thank you for your support.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here.
All right. Anybody else want to add anything, colleagues?
Are tickets still available?
Tickets are still available, always promoting. But right now we're approaching 65, 70% of capacity. That's one thing should be noted. This will look like no other race that's ever been in this city. There's over 170 structures that have been built at PIR. That's probably triple what's been built for IndyCar and NASCAR. It is a festival of the sustainable economy out there, music, entertainment, and I think this is not, it's race fans are more than welcome and a focal point, but I think non-race fans will find a very interesting and engaging opportunity out there. And so this is really about celebrating our ethos as a community from a sustainability with the leading group in the sport.
Right. So let's give some Portland hospitality and welcome our friends from Spain. Hey.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you Saturday.
All right, with that, I will now convene this morning's council sessions. Today's date is June 21st, 2023. Good morning, Keelan. Please call the roll.
Good morning. Ryan.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Maps.
Here.
Here. Wheeler.
Here. And now we'll hear from legal counsel on the rules of order and decorum. Good morning.
Welcome to the Portland City Council. City Council is holding hybrid public meetings with in-person attendance in addition to electronic attendance. If you wish to testify before council in person or virtually, you must sign up in advance by visiting the council agenda on the council clerk's webpage at www.portland.gov/council/agenda. You may sign up for communications to briefly speak about any subject. You may also sign up for public testimony on resolutions, reports, or the first readings of ordinances. Written testimony may be submitted at cctestimony@portlandoregon.gov. Your testimony should address the matter being considered at the time. When testifying, please state your name. For the record, your address is not necessary. Please disclose if you are a lobbyist. If you are representing an organization, please identify it. For testifiers joining virtually, please unmute yourself once the council clerk calls your name. The presiding officer preserves order and decorum during city council meetings so everyone can feel welcome, comfortable, respected, and safe. The presiding officer determines the length of testimony. Individuals generally have 3 minutes to testify, unless otherwise stated. A timer will indicate when your time is done. Disruptive conduct, such as shouting, refusing to conclude your testimony when your time is up, interrupting others' testimony, or council deliberations will not be allowed. If there are disruptions, a warning will be given that further disruption may result in the person being ejected for the remainder of the meeting. After being ejected, a person who fails to leave the meeting is subject to arrest for trespass. Additionally, council may take a short recess and reconvene virtually.
Very good, thank you. Colleagues, emergency item 519, which is the supplemental budget for the over-expenditure process, must be adopted today in order to meet year-end requirements in order to execute the budget. Apparently, a couple of council members are not able to participate this afternoon, so we will not have enough council members this afternoon to vote on item 519 today, unless we vote to suspend the rules and hear the item this morning instead. With that, I move to suspend the rules to hear item 519 as part of the morning agenda. Can I please get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Rubio seconds. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Keelan, please call the roll to suspend the rules.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The motion carries. We'll take this item up at the top of the regular agenda. And colleagues, due to a lack of quorum, obviously this afternoon's council session will be canceled. The 2 additional items scheduled for this afternoon's session will be rescheduled to a later date. Keelan, can you please read items 520 and 521?
Item 520, approve the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission FY 2023-24 fund budget. Item 521, authorize 5-year grant agreement with Portland Community Media, DBA Open Signal for public, educational, and governmental access resources, and to provide culturally responsive, relevant, and affordable media training for and with media makers and nonprofit organizations on a citywide basis not to exceed $6,239,438 in operational support.
Thanks. I'll turn this over to Commissioner Rubio now to share with the public when we expect these items to come back to council. Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to request for items 520 and 521 to be heard next Wednesday, June 28th, time certain at 10:05 a.m. and 10:35 a.m.
Very good.
Second. Is that a motion?
No,
No. Okay, good.
we just all agree without objection. Thanks, Keelan. Appreciate it. Thanks, Commissioner Rubio. All right, we'll move on to communications for this morning's agenda. We have item 508, 509, 510, 511, and 512. They're all on the same subject. If you could go ahead and read them all, and I understand there's some substitutions of the individuals.
Item 508, request of Ryan Hishagan to address council regarding Steel Bridge Skate Park. Item 509, request of Saul Scrapper to address council regarding Steel Bridge Skate Park. Item 510, request of Brian Lopez to address council regarding Steel Bridge Skate Park. Item 511, request of Janae King to address council regarding Steel Bridge Skate Park. Item 512, request of Bill Couch to address council regarding Steel Bridge Skate Park. They would all like to use the 15 minutes.
Great. And are they in person or virtual? Great. All right. If you heard your name, come on down, and we'll let you orchestrate it. And you have 15 minutes for your full presentation. Thank you. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. And I'll let you guys just decide the order. And if you could state your name for the record, because I understand there's been a couple of substitutions. Thank you.
We also have one testifier via Zoom. Are they showing up? Oh, great. Wonderful.
Go ahead, AJ. You're muted.
Hello, everyone. Hello, City Council. My name is AJ Waters. I apologize for any sound or echo here. I am coming to you from Stronger Skate Park, which is the indoor skate park that I founded a few years ago in Milwaukee, but I'm a resident of Portland. We're right on the border of Portland and Milwaukee here. And we have summer camp going on right now, so there's some noise out there with all the kids. I created Stronger Skate Park so that we could have a year-round inclusive space for action sports in the Portland metro area. Currently, there's not really any other spaces that are both covered, accessible year-round, and feel welcoming to people of all backgrounds, all ability levels, and all different wheels. Nowadays, skateboarding, scootering, roller skates, other action sports, as we call them, are very popular recreational activities across ages and genders. But it wasn't all that long ago when skate parks were seen as a place for teen boys, young adult men, almost exclusively. But thanks to a lot of work by a lot of brave people putting themselves out there, it's now a much more inclusive place, the skate park, and we're still doing work to make that even more. I believe the Steel Bridge Skate Park can be another place that is for everyone on wheels. Portland has a long history of skateboarding in our city, but it's time to do a project that's even bigger, more inclusive, to keep growing that legacy and coming into a more kind of modern era with it. By building a new skate park in Old Town, we'll be able to serve both those families that live in that area, as well as the entire city and even beyond the city of Portland. It'll be a destination both for skaters and non-skaters by providing an interesting place to visit. It'll be on people's list right there with the Saturday market. They can walk just a little further and see the incredible sights of people roller skating, skateboarding, riding bikes of all ages and ability levels. It will engage, I already said that. I also want to address the concerns of skate parks not always being cared for. Skaters have a long history of caring for our own spaces, cleaning up our own trash, keeping the space as safe as possible. And I also want to just add that the skate parks are some of the most heavily used features in our city parks. If you go to Lewitt Park or Ed Benedict Park, the skate parks are always busy. And oftentimes there's empty tennis courts, empty basketball courts, and the skate park is never empty. So there's no reason not to have more space for these sports in our city. And we're overdue for having another big central skate park. So I just urge you guys to help us fund this project and move it forward so that we can have a place for people of all backgrounds, including women, queer folk, disabled folk, younger kids, and older adults to all come together in the sports that we love. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate your testimony.
Hi. I'm Stevie Mo, and it's interesting that we're having this conversation today because it is Go Skate Day. So if you get a chance, go out and skate. I want to first take the time to thank the council and Prosper Portland for allocating funds to help move the Steelbridge Skate Park project forward. I want to take a minute to let you know why this project means so much to me. I'm the operations director for Push Movement. We are a local nonprofit that is dedicated to building healthy, inclusive communities through skateboarding and self-expression. Our goal is to bring this programming to downtown, and the skate park will allow us to do the work that we find most valuable in the space that is needed in Portland. I was at the awards ceremony for the Portland Parks Foundation a couple weeks back, and I heard Commissioner Ryan say that we need to bring people back to downtown Portland if we are going to save our city. This project will allow that to happen. This is not just a skate park, but a public resource that can be utilized by the community and bring people back to a space that has been neglected by all of us. By allowing the city to use the SDC funds to build this park, you are doing exactly what is needed to accomplish what you want, bringing people back to downtown Portland. Giving the community a reason to occupy space that has appeared to be unsafe and unfit for public use for many years. Its location is detrimental to the city because it gives new life to a space in downtown that has been overlooked due to it being inaccessible because the space is not being properly utilized. We want to see downtown Portland thrive, and this project is the direction we need to go to give our city the hope that we're so desperately looking for right now. So I hope that you guys can allocate that funding for us.
Thanks, Stevie.
Hello, my name is Isnardo Gandaria. I'm one of the admins for a local community group called Community in Bowls. And my testimony is basically like my experience skating here in Portland. Growing up in Portland area, I sought safe spaces to skate and express myself. When I was a young teen, I used to ride the Max for and the bus 2+ hours to go to a park. Now that I'm older, I can have more accessible skate parks, but I still think about those who are not as mobile. I think having a downtown skate park and using TriMet is easily accessible for a lot of people. Through skating, I've discovered a strong sense of community, participating in various skating events around town. Each week, there's roller hockey, there's a secret disco, there's skating at Stronger Skate Park. There's also Tuesday night skate. And through these communities, I've found a strong sense of family and friends. I host a roller, or we host. We, as always, us as a community, host a roller skating thing at an abandoned park, undercover park, and we basically get together during the rainy season and skate together. And it's always awesome to hear people say, "Oh, I would have left Portland or I would have gone back home if it wasn't for this community. I stayed here, and I met so many friends, and I love every one of you guys. It's a great feeling." Constructing the steel bridge skate park will have a positive impact both on me and my community. It will attract more foot traffic to the downtown area with skaters of all ages enjoying the park. This will bring people to the streets, creating a vibrant atmosphere where both skaters and non-skaters can come together and appreciate the park.
Thank you. Morning.
Good morning. Hello. My name is Captain Rose, and I started skateboarding in my later 20s during the pandemic when most activities were shut down and everyone was full of fear of the unknown. As a trained dancer, I immediately fell in love with the challenge of coordinating my body to move in a completely new way. Skateboarding is about taking risks and embracing the dance between pleasure, pain, and more than that, it is about community. Skate parks create a space where whoever you are there embracing the risk of doing something that is inherently challenging and intrinsically pushing you past what you think is possible. That risk creates a vulnerable and social situation. As I've learned to skate, I've met 8-year-olds who absolutely shred, 50-year-olds who are still in the game, and more than anything, an extremely diverse group of passionate people who are there to be outside and push themselves and those around them. However, not every skate park or skate spot is inclusive or safe for everyone. We want to change that. I wholeheartedly support the Steel Bridge Skate Park because we need more skate parks that incorporate inclusivity, community placemaking, and green space from the inception, especially in the west side of our city. Ironically, I'm here advocating for building this park, putting down pavement, while also being employed by DPave, an environmental nonprofit in Portland, dedicated to creating community green space by ripping up pavement. However, our work centers around the concept of people-focused design and the intentional creation of livable spaces. This project exemplifies that mission. The future location of the Steel Bridge Skate Park sits at a natural drainage site for stormwater runoff from Nadeau Parkway and adjacent roads. DAO Architecture's design incorporates green space into the park and includes stormwater management and retention, as well as solar charging features. We need to view skate parks as part of our natural and urban landscapes, with green spaces integrated into their layout. This design does exactly that. Many studies have shown the positive effect of nature and green space on our mental and physical health. Seeing that combined with a skate park where folks can recreate and move through their landscape is exciting and something that feels distinctly Portland. I hope the city chooses to embrace making outdoor spaces that are managing stormwater, incorporating green space and habitat, encouraging positive recreation, and more than anything, creating spaces where people want to come spend time with each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Morning.
Morning. Hello, Mayor and City Commissioners. Happy International Go Skate Day. My name is Ryan Hashkin. I help organize the Steelbridge Skate Park Coalition and also run a business in Old Town since 2007, Icicle Tricycles. I'd like to thank Prosper Portland, the Mayor, Parks Commissioner Ryan, PBOT Commissioner Maps, and all of City Council for working to identify funding for the design of the crown jewel of the skate park master plan, the Steelbridge Skate Park. We are here to express our appreciation for the work to date and to ask City Council to allocate downtown park system development charge funding to build this long-awaited plan. The Steelbridge Skate Park will draw people into Old Town, activating downtown, and create a much-needed and welcoming public space to skate. The design includes areas for spectating from friends, family, and tourists from Saturday Market to enjoy. Thank you for all of your work on this project. Let's now get rolling together to get the Steelbridge Skate Park funded together. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. And AJ, thank you for showing up online today. I look forward to hearing more about this project as it develops. Thank you.
Great, thank you all.
Really appreciate it.
If I could just say a couple things.
Commissioner Ryan has a couple of comments.
Yeah, thank you all for being here. Your presentation was amazing. I should have said something before you left, but all four of you and your friend online, just know that also I just learned it's Happy International? International Go Skate Day. All right, got it. All right, now we know. And let's celebrate that. I know you've been waiting for a long time for action on this, so I want to acknowledge your perseverance. I was doing some homework on just how long you've been going at it. I'm looking at you right now, Ryan. You're looking back at me. And I'm committed to seeing this through, but I'm not the only one. I'm glad you mentioned Commissioner Maps, and we'll have some dialogue about that because of that intersection. There he is on vacation, tuning in and raising their hand to say something after me. I'm just really know that we are focused on building skate parks in our parks around the city, and Parks has a good focus on that. And this one is more complex because of the right-of-way in the area that it's in. All your made really compelling points. I think the irony is when you first started this, there might have been one perception of what this could do to activate the downtown. And I'm hoping today that there's a different perception, the one that you laid out. And so let's hear it for that type of progress. And I really do think it would be obviously a really healthy thing to bring downtown. And I really liked the theme of inclusivity. I don't think I've really heard such a through line when 5 people present on a skate park before. That was really lovely. So Parks is working through issues to proceed with this work. I know that Commissioner Maps can speak to the PBOT, which has to resolve issues with ODOT and TriMet and BES, and you know this better than anyone, Ryan. And so let's know this will take a little while for them to resolve, and I thank Commissioner Maps for working on this, the PBOT piece. And again, thanks for your perseverance. Hang in there. We'll see this through and see the Steelbridge Skate Park hopefully in our nearish future. All right, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Maps.
Well, I just want to thank everyone who testified today on this matter. I get it. I'm a former skateboarder myself. I live with a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old boys. We have plenty of skateboards scattered throughout our house. PBOT has an important role here in that we own some of this land, and we look forward to working with ODOT and Parks and BES to figure out a path forward. So stay tuned, and my office will be in communication with Commissioner Ryan's office to make Portland's next great skate park a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, we'll move into that completes communications. We'll move into our first time certain item today. Please, 513.
Proclaim June 2023 to be Portland Pride Month.
Good morning. I'd like to begin this morning by marking a very special event here at Portland City Council. It just so happens that today is Commissioner Dan Ryan's birthday. And in lieu of me singing, because nobody wants us to start our day doing that, I just want to wish my esteemed colleague Dan a very happy birthday. Your leadership and your work on the City Council and in your community has obviously made a deep and lasting impact. Thank you for everything you're doing for the City of Portland. We all appreciate you. Now, I'd like to give Commissioner Ryan the floor to introduce this year's proclamation honoring Pride Month. Commissioner Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. That was very kind of you. And as I sit here as an aging queer, it's just such an honor to start this off. And it's an important time to remind ourselves and our city why we continue to fight for equality for our LGBTQ plus friends and families. I was just thinking about this a lot over the last 2 days, that I think even a few years ago I would have a different tone, but the last couple of years have been kind of rough. And so I think it's important to take a moment just to acknowledge a little bit of that. And this equality includes now my husband and I, Amo Reyes, and we're so grateful that the Supreme Court did allow that to happen. And I think we keep reminding ourselves how fragile that is at these times. But the data speaks for itself. We are struggling to be seen as equal members of society, and the concerns are recent. More than 193 anti-LGBTQ plus incidents were tracked through mid-November 2022, and that's 3 times more than the previous year. The Gay Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, known as GLAAD, reports it's recorded 161 protests and threats targeting drag events from early 2022 through April 23. At the beginning of this year, state legislators across the nation have introduced more than 491 anti-LGBTQ plus bills. That represents more bills than in the past 4 years combined. We must not abide these threats and to push queer and trans people into the shadows. No one should be marginalized. The good news for me and for all of us in here is we live in Portland, Oregon. And I now have the honor of turning this over to Judge Kemp, members of the DEEP, and members of the Queer Alliance team, including some very special guests. Judge, I'll hand this over to your capable hands. Welcome, my brother. Take it away.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan, and happy birthday. Good morning, Mayor,
morning.
Commissioner Rubio, and to everyone joining us today and who is Zooming in. Happy Pride. My name is Judge Kemp. I use he, him pronouns. I work for the Portland Bureau of Transportation and on the leadership team for the city's Queer Alliance. That's part of the Diverse and Empowered Employees of Portland Groups, or DEEP for short. We are honored to start our program with a solo performance by Portland Gay Men's Chorus member Matt Ilar, accompanied by David Saffert. The Portland Gay Men's Chorus is a group that inspires to expand, redefine, and perfect the choral art through eclectic performances that honor and uplift the community and affirm the worth of all people. For 43 years, the Portland Gay Men's Chorus has been a proud and artistic part of the landscape in this community. They have used their musical voices to change the hearts and minds, not only here in Portland, but in the communities across Portland, the Pacific Northwest, and most recently in the People's Republic of China, where they became the first Western LGBT chorus to perform and tour in 4 cities, including Portland's sister city, Suzhou. This weekend, they will appear with their partner for Disney concerts and the Oregon Symphony when they bring Disney Pride in concert to the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall. This concert is the first ever all-Disney choral event told from an LGBT perspective, merging music, dance, video, and storytelling into a compelling and life-affirming event. PGMC is also proud to be hosting students, families, and faculty from Atkinson Elementary who saw their Pride celebration canceled after being deluged with hate messages generated by media coverage from far-right aligned broadcasts. PGMC wants to thank you for having them here today and for all the City of Portland does in continuing the work of building a more affirming and accepting place that we can all proudly call home.
Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me, don't let it make you cry, for even though I'm far away, I hold you in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Remember me, though I have to travel far. Remember me, each time you hear a sad guitar. Know that I'm with you the only way that I can be, until you're in my arms again. Recuérdame, hoy me tengo que ir, mi amor, recuérdame. No llores, por favor, te llevo en mi corazón y cerca me tendrás. A solas yo te cantaré, soñando en regresar. Recuérdame, aunque tengas que emigrar, recuérdame. Si mi guitarra oyes llorar, know that I'm with you the only way that I can be, until you're in my arms again. Remember me.
Thank you, Richard, Matthew, and David, for sharing your talents with us this morning. I'm pleased to be here with several of my colleagues from our affinity group. I've been a part of the Queer Alliance group since September of 2021 and could not have been happier to join. And now I serve on the leadership team of the Queer Alliance, a group with such strong and engaged membership. Our members represent a broad cross-section of city employees and have been critical to moving forward some long-desired initiatives, including the funding of an inaugural LGBTQ IA2S+ program policy position and the hiring of a limited-term human resources consultant. We also want to thank the council for their funding of a secondary limited-term position to support the growth of the program within the Office in Equity and Human Rights. These investments have given the DEEP Group's vision and agenda additional much-needed visibility and bandwidth. These positions are critical for representation of city employees. In the supplemental section of the recent workplace survey, 1.5% responded they identify as something other than woman or man. 17% responded that they identify as something other than heterosexual. Thanks to the council's responsiveness to last year's ask, we also have dedicated policy liaisons from each office. Michelle Rodriguez, Darian Jones, Cody Bowman, Michelle DePass, Nick Coffey, thank you for your engagement over the last year with our deep group leadership on developing LGBTQ IA2S+ program strategic plan and strategizing moving forward our policy priorities.
Good morning. My name is Anthony Cabadas. I use he, him pronouns. I've been part of the Queer Alliance and the Bureau of Planning Sustainability for about a little more than half a year now. And we are hopeful that this is just the beginning of integrating an intersectional LGBTQIA2S+ equity lens into all the work we do here at the city. Unfortunately, not all communities have the same focused investment in this work and the protection of our communities. As Commissioner Dan Ryan shared a lot of statistics with, that I will not repeat, it's far-reaching and it's growing in intensity at an alarming rate. So even in our own community, we're seeing this huge uptick in threats and hate from school pride celebrations to library drag queen story times. Anti-queer forces are using threats of violence to try to silence us and suppress activities. While the sheer volume of hate is overwhelming, it is imperative that we also come together to celebrate the courageous pushback to these kinds of attacks. We want to uplift jurisdictions across the country who are publicly and proactively protecting queer and trans community. Officials in Missouri's largest city approved a resolution in May to declare Kansas City a sanctuary for people seeking or providing gender-affirming care, defying state lawmakers who voted a day earlier to ban such care for minors and restrict it for some adults. In Texas, the state capital of Austin declared last year that it should be considered a sanctuary for transgender youth and their families. And Harris County, home to Houston, declared it wouldn't pursue against parents over gender-affirming care. California, Minnesota, and Washington have declared themselves sanctuary states for gender-affirming care, as have the cities of Chicago, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and West Hollywood, California. We also want to recognize and thank the mayor and the commissioners for adopting the updates to the recent city human resource administrative rules last week that were expanded to include language around chosen families and other common intersectional issues in our community. The Queer Alliance Group is heartened to know that we have advocates in the city who have been meeting to move forward these kinds of protections as well, and look forward to them coming to council. This Pride, our deep group is asking council and the community at large to be in public solidarity with community celebrations across the region. If you're sitting on the dais, we need you to continue the support, the growth of this work at the city through moving the LGBTQIA2S+ strategic plan, supporting the development of policies that have already been designed and drafted and stay visible within the community this Pride season. For Portlanders watching today's proclamation, at home or in the chambers, please show up this Pride season and do your part to support queer events and spaces. Go to a drag brunch, enjoy queer art, and most importantly, write or call your local, state, and federal lawmakers in support of protections for queer, trans, and reproductive health. We need our community to be with us now more than ever.
Thank you, Anthony. Good morning, Council. My name is Kayla McGrail, they, she, and I'm a proud member of the Queer Alliance. I am employed in the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability as a queer historic preservationist focused on the LGBTQ+ historic sites project. This ongoing initiative seeks to protect our histories against decay, demolition, and erasure through the additional designation of landmarks to the National Register of Historic Places. I'm honored to be here and be a witness to Portland's 2023 Pride Proclamation. Looking back 46 years ago, Portland issued its first Gay Pride Proclamation. 400 people were downtown to celebrate this significant moment in Portland's history. Across the city, a protest was held against this proclamation. That historical moment is all too present as we continue fighting against protests of LGBTQIA2S+ pride, civil rights, and mere existence. These challenges are significant, and the histories of queer resiliency can guide us through navigating cycles of attacks and hate. But more than resiliency, queer joy and community push us forward. Fortunately, a plethora of Portland Queer City employees have been and currently are central to leading us through. We are reminded of that history right here at City Hall, especially with the Keaston Lowry Memorial Garden right outside. Keaston was an influential gay rights activist, and through collaboration with other influential city staffers, including Kathleen Sadat, Portland's anti-discrimination ordinance was passed. City Hall and several hundred other places across the city are embedded with queer histories and legacies. These places are the physical reminders that queer people have been here, are here, and will remain here. I invite Portlanders to remember and celebrate our queer histories and historic places during this Pride Summer and all year long. Honor Portland's queer history with a renewed and determined dedication to supporting our queer pasts, presents, and futures.
Thank you, Kayla. Thank you all for your attention today for today's important proclamation. Our community is strong. We are resilient and we are here. I would like to leave everyone with a poem from my recently released collection of 55 semi-biographical poems from a book entitled Live, Love, Leo. The piece is entitled We Are Here. We are here, a diverse spectrum of family bound by blood and not, representing color shades in celebration and unity. 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and 7 days a week. We are here. Forces old, clad in angry habits of righteousness, condemn my life and whom I choose to love. Governmentally politicized and medically deprived, we were forced to act up. Voices young and inexperienced in life's journey demand changes now while ignoring souls, lost souls of a time when. A place of brick and mortar is now a stone wall monument and genesis to the start of a movement. We are here. Ridiculed, stereotyped, and victims of violence, our communities rally onward. From lesbian, trans, dykes on bikes, drag queens, muscle daddy bears, two-spirit gay and bi, here is something for everyone. For this is Pride, a yearly spectacle of parades, sequins, waving rainbow flags, letting the world around us know that we are here. Now, I'm going to pass it to the mayor for comments before my colleague Karen Brooks comes up to read the proclamation.
Thanks, Judge. First, I want to thank the members of the city's Queer Alliance for their thought-provoking presentations as well as for drafting this year's proclamation. I also want to thank the Portland Gay Men's Chorus for their incredible performance this morning. That was really sensational. Thank you so much for being here and sharing with all of us. And thank you all for bringing your perspectives to this important annual celebration of Pride Month. I'd like to open the floor for my colleagues to speak. I'll just go in the order. I'll let Commissioner Ryan speak last. Commissioner Mapps, you're up first.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And let me start today by thanking our panelists for today's presentation and performance. That was very moving. I would also like to add this. I am honored to join this council in proclaiming June to be Portland Pride Month. Now, Portland Pride Month commemorates the Stonewall riots, which occurred on June 28, 1969. The Stonewall riots were an uprising by members of the gay community in response to a police raid on the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar in New York's Greenwich Village neighborhood. At that time, it was a common practice for police departments to raid gay bars with the intent of harassing and shaming customers. Now, that began to change on June 28, 1969, when police raided the Stonewall Inn. On that night, the patrons of the Stonewall Inn fought back and sparked a civil rights revolution. In 1970, a year after the Stonewall riots, New York City hosted its first gay pride parade. It was called the Christopher Street Liberation Day, and it was intended to commemorate the Stonewall riots. Now, the concept of setting aside a day and eventually a month to celebrate and demand gay liberation quickly spread around the globe. For example, in 1971, gay pride parades were held in Boston, Dallas, Milwaukee, London, Paris, West Berlin, and Stockholm. By 1972, pride parades spread to Atlanta, Buffalo, Detroit, Washington, D.C., Miami, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. And in 1975, Portland held its first Pride celebration when a group of about 200 people gathered on the South Park blocks near PSU for Gay Pride Fair. And in 1976, Portland held its first Gay Pride March. Portland activist Kathleen Sadat helped organize Portland's first Gay Pride March. Sadat described that march with these words, quote, "We were marching along and doing chants, being scared and seeing people on the sidewalk who we knew were gay or lesbian, but were afraid to join the march. Today, it is important that we remember the courage it took and still takes to come out to celebrate LGBTQIA plus identities and to demand LGBTQIA plus rights. And on this day, it is important to remember and recognize the incredible civil rights victories won by Portland's LGBTQIA plus community. For example, in 1977, the city of Portland issued its first proclamation for Gay Pride Day. In 1987, the Portland City Council approved an ordinance stating that city employees cannot be fired solely because they are gay or lesbian. In 1991, Portland City Council adopted a civil rights ordinance that banned discrimination based on sexual orientation in housing, employment, and public accommodations. In 1993, the city of Portland extended health benefits to domestic partners of city employees. And in 1998, Portland City Council passed a resolution that implemented non-discrimination protections on the basis of transgendered identities. In 2008, Sam Adams was elected mayor of Portland, which made him the first openly gay mayor of a major U.S. city. And today, I have the great privilege and pleasure of serving on this council with my friend, Dan Ryan, a longtime champion of LGBTQIA plus rights, common sense, and human decency. Today, we are nearly 50 years removed from Portland's first Pride event. Much progress has been made, and much work is left to be done. For example, violence against Portland's LGBTQIA plus community continues to run rampant. Employment and housing discrimination against members of the gay community is still common, and our health care system continues to fail our LGBTQIA plus neighbors. So while there is much to celebrate this Pride Month, it is also important to remember that there are important battles ahead. That's why I want to take a moment to urge all Portlanders to celebrate Pride Month, and that's why I want to urge all Portlanders to seize this moment and do your part to further the cause of LGBTQIA plus rights here in the City of Roses. Thank you very much, and happy Pride Month.
Thanks, Commissioner Mapps. Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I just want to thank Commissioner Ryan and Mayor for bringing this forward, and also to our excellent presenters and performers. I appreciate you for your comments, and also want to thank the Queer Alliance, the Gay Men's Chorus, the Office of Equity and Human Rights, and DEEP for showing young people to feel proud and to bring their full selves to everything that they do and to demand recognition and dignity. Just the fact of showing up today even just does that. It's heartening to hear about the progress that we're making collectively, and at the same time, exactly what some of you mentioned, the stories that we're hearing around the country remind us that we need to double down on our work. And we need to protect our civil rights and LGBTQIA+ affirming policies. I want to thank all our LGBTQIA employees who unapologetically stand up and have refused to let anything hold their power and their voices back. And this also includes appreciation to my friend and colleague, Commissioner Dan Ryan, whose very presence and representation on this council is a testament to that leadership. I also want to acknowledge all BIPOC, LGBTQIA+, and intersectional folks and all the distinct visibility challenges that they face. And Judge, I want to thank you for lifting this up in your poetry. That was especially meaningful to me, and for your advocacy. Again, just deeply appreciate the commitment to justice and the support for future generations through your actions, and showing up and being seen and being present, and showing people that they are worthy. So again, thank you for your actions and contributions and for building belonging in Portland, and also happy Pride.
Thank you, Commissioner Rubio. Commissioner Gonzalez. Muted. You're muted. Renee, can you unmute? Still muted. Now I know how Keelan's job is. Let me come back to you, Commissioner Gonzalez. I'll go ahead and make my statement. We'll circle back and see if we can get that straightened out. Well, first of all, thank you, colleagues. This is truly one of my favorite events every year. It's a lot of fun and it's meaningful. And as has been indicated, we're standing on the shoulders of many, many others. This is a history that dates back to 1971, with Pride marches specifically being held here since 1976. Today's children do not know a world without a Pride movement, and that gives me a deep well of hope for future advances in equality. Unfortunately, as has been indicated here today, we would be remiss if we did not also note that the LGBTQ+ community continues to face hateful attacks all across our country. These attacks have come recently, as Judge had indicated, in the form of a variety of bigoted legislative proposals. I want to be clear that I firmly denounce these attempts at discriminating against an incredibly valuable part of our community. I can state unequivocally that I will continue to fight fiercely to support legislation and policies that protect the LGBTQ+ community locally as well as nationally. And I'm proud that the city honored Transgender Day of Visibility earlier this year. I look forward to the more work that we can do together to ensure that Portland is both equitable as well as inclusionary. We in Greater Portland must continue to strive for greater acceptance and equality, while also being loud and proud to make clear that acceptance and inclusion, rather than discrimination and exclusion, are what make our city a stronger city. I'm going to try Commissioner Gonzalez again here before we go to Karen. Commissioner Gonzalez, were you able to unmute? Do this. Do you have my cell number handy? Just call me on my cell. Joe's Pizza Parlor, how may I help you? Go ahead, Commissioner. Okay, can you try it now? Yeah, shut off your mic on the, there.
I don't think this is going to work. I'll send you my comments.
Okay. All right, thanks, Commissioner. Well, it was worth a try. Now I want to welcome Karen Brooks, who is a member of the city's Queer Alliance Group, to read.
She goes, then I go.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Ryan. I totally, on your birthday, no less. This is horrible.
I'll call you on your cell.
This is the worst faux pas of the day. Commissioner Ryan, please.
Sure. Judge, Anthony, Rick, Matt, David, Portland Gay Men's Chorus, Kayla, Karen, it's good to see you. This is a lovely presentation. Thank you so much. You really worked hard on it. It's really tight and clear, and you covered so many bases. So I'm really honored to be a part of the community that you're a part of. And Lex, I know you're doing that really amazing, humble leadership, but something tells me that you were leading behind the scenes. So let's hear it for Lex Jaskowski, who's back there. Thank you for your demonstration once again of amazing, humble leadership. Lex, Queer Alliance and Deep, I'm really appreciative of the work that you do for all of our city employees. It's really important to take a breath and just listen to that on this day. And I want to lift those from the LGBTQI community on my own staff. And so there's a few of them out there. Thank you, Darian Jones. Thank you, TJ McHugh. And thank you, Steve Lee. I have to say, Remember Me, I had no idea what you were all going to sing. And Judge, I sure like your Disney pin there, the rainbow Mickey Mouse. But I have to say it was moving because some of us of my age, we went to a lot of funerals in the 80s and 90s, way too many. A lot of brothers and some sisters that were lost. And so when I hear a song like that, I'm reminded that I'm living on, they inspire me to serve. I'm fortunate. It'll be 40 years this December, how long I've lived with HIV. And it's just a real reminder when you sing a song like that, that I'm just really grateful to be alive, and I'm also really moved to remember all those amazing people who inspired me to have courage, who inspired me to start going to gay pride parades because they were literally fighting for their lives and dying. So the least I could do was be a volunteer and get involved in the movement. And I will just go back to that time, because it was a time that I hope, and I'm counting on your generation, to really bring us back together. I saw my lesbian sisters caring for their gay brothers constantly. I saw us build systems. One reason I'm known to be a reformer and I think out of the box, I know it's from the volunteer work I did, because the government wasn't there for us. And so we had to build systems from the ground up, where all system change really comes from. And then when we had government take over, on the top-down approach, actually, it was weakened for quite some time. So we had to fight. And so I learned how to be feisty and sassy in those meetings. Yes, I was young once. And rejecting the top-down, just out-of-touch approach that they were taking, and we had authentically built better systems to care for one another. And so I know long-term care will always be better in our country because of what we had to do, since even the President of the United States wouldn't even say that we were dying. And so your song allowed me to feel all that this morning. Thank you. So I'm grateful to be in a sanctuary city, and for the most part a state, but we don't take advantage of that. And I also know that we have to keep being there. I think my favorite part of Pride Parade is meeting people from Baker, Oregon, LeGrand, SIO, you name it, that don't have the privilege of being seen in the same way we are here. So I look forward to the Pride Festival in July, when we get to experience a lot of rural Oregonians coming to town. And I'm just proud to support this proclamation. And yes, Judge, that was beautiful. We are here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan. Now we'll welcome Karen Brooks, who will read the proclamation. Thank you.
All right. Whereas the City of Portland is committed to diversity, social justice, equity, and mutual respect as a fundamental aspect of a healthy community. And whereas the long and ongoing struggle of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, and other sexual and gender minority communities for basic civil and human rights continues to provide inspiration to all those who work against discrimination and oppression. And whereas in any movement, it is imperative to remember its history and center the voices of its most marginalized members, especially transgender women of color like Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, who fought back against police violence at Stonewall, figures in a long lineage of leaders who have fought for queer and trans liberation. And whereas the presence and visibility of the LGBTQIA+ community is vital to the quality of life of all residents and visitors alike in the city of Portland, a city known as a safe harbor and home for this community. And whereas Pride celebrations have been held continuously in Portland since 1971 and Pride marches since 1976, and 2023 marks the 53rd anniversary of Pride around the world. And whereas we are witnessing a relentless attack on the dignity and rights of all LGBTQIA+ people, but most specifically transgender adults and youth who are not only being denied basic health care, but are being targeted for state oppression and violence. And whereas it is vital to not be silent nor avert our eyes from the threats that our LGBTQIA+ family, friends, coworkers, neighbors, and community are facing, and to find ways to protect each other and continue to be a safe harbor and home for all queer and trans people. And whereas, especially in the face of discrimination, we celebrate with pride the dedication to service, art, craft work, and mutual aid that the LGBTQIA+ community shares with all the people of Portland through more than 3 years of a global pandemic and ongoing struggles for justice.
Now, therefore, I, Ted Wheeler, Mayor of the City of Portland, Oregon, the City of Roses, do hereby proclaim June 2023 to be Portland Pride Month in Portland and encourage all residents to observe this month. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, colleagues, we'll move to the suspension item, item 5181.
Adopt the supplemental budget for the FY 2022-23 over expenditure process and make budget adjustments in various funds.
Colleagues, we can now proceed with necessary action to review and approve the over expenditure ordinance, also known as the OEO. The OEO is a final budget monitoring process of the current fiscal year. It's very narrowly focused on preventing over expenditure at the Bureau, fund, or appropriation level. This morning, the City Budget Office Director, Tim Grew, will walk us through the OEO ordinance. We will then hear and second any amendments. After that, we will take public testimony, if there is any, before the council deliberates and votes. I'll now turn this over to Director Grew to review the over expenditure ordinance. Welcome, Director Grew.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good morning to the council members. For the record, my name is Tim Grew. I am the City Budget Director, and I'm here with my colleague Robert, who is our budget monitoring process coordinator. Today before you, as the mayor said, is the over expenditure ordinance. As indicated by the mayor, the OEO is an annual action council takes in mid to late June to as recommended by the CBO in order to prevent over expenditures that may occur at the fund, bureau, or major object levels of the budget. Bureaus are required to adjust their budgets so that funds do not have a negative balance at year end. Before you, the OEO ordinance, as filed, includes actions which will appropriate all remaining general fund unrestricted contingency, requests for non-general fund contingencies, and several technical adjustments requested by bureaus to ensure that expenses do not exceed current budgets. Next, I will briefly highlight some of these changes. Please feel free to ask me questions at any time. In total, the OEO increases the city's current appropriations by $20.3 million. There's $3 million in unrestricted general fund contingency at this point in the fiscal year. As filed, the OEO would allocate 2.5, leaving 500,000 for any last urgent allocations. I would like to now briefly summarize the general fund contingency allocations that total $2.5 million from the ordinance before you. The first requested item has to do with the Portland Fire Bureau. $2 million is being allocated from the general fund contingency to cover over expenditures in Portland Fire and Rescue's general fund budget. These expenses are predominantly driven by overtime and other personnel costs during the year. The CBO also recommends that the Bureau be authorized to draw funds as necessary from the Fire Capital Reserve Fund of up to $3.5 million to cover any additional over expenditures. Furthermore, although the capital fund should not be used for operational overages, the CBO recommends that the Portland Fire and Rescue Bureau plan to use all general fund resources before initiating any transfers from the capital fund. Capital fund resources are to be available as the funding source of last resort. The Hydroelectric Power Operating Fund, managed by the Water Bureau, is supported by power sales from the dam in the watershed. Current forecasts are indicating that there is a potential that there may be a fund deficit by the end of the fiscal year. When there is a deficit, it is up to the general fund to provide funds to make the balance positive. The CBO is recommending that $500,000 be allocated from the general fund contingency to the hydropower fund to mitigate any possible over expenditures at year end. If the fund ends up with a positive balance, which may be the case at year end, then the transfer will not be executed. However, if the transfer is required, CBO has recommended that the general fund be reimbursed should the sufficient funds become available in the hydro fund in the future. Mr. Mayor, the CBO has also recommended an amendment as introduced in the Tuesday memo to allocate the remaining $500,000 in unrestricted contingency. Based on the most recent payroll and projections, the CBO recommends that the Police Bureau be allocated an additional $500,000 to the Portland Police Bureau to prevent any over expenditure driven by personnel or over costs. This amendment will be proposed and acted upon later in this process. I'd like to now turn to some key issues in non-general fund contingencies. The Portland Bureau of Planning and Sustainability has submitted multiple requests to ensure the Bureau has sufficient appropriation to execute cash advances in the city's financial system to process cash advances made to vendors in the year 2020 and 2021. These are predominantly tied to multi-year cash advances associated with the move from the OCT to the BPS. I want to be clear that this action is primarily an accounting transaction that has been recommended by our accounting unit. We are simply including appropriations within the budget so that the accountants can close the books for the 2021 cash transfers. I'll now turn to Portland Parks and Recreation, which is reducing contingency in the parks location option levy fund by $6.15 million and transferring it to the general fund to mitigate the risk of any over expenditure of program expenses in the parks general fund budget. Finally, the Portland Bureau of Transportation has requested a technical adjustment of $3.5 million to ensure that the Bureau has sufficient appropriation to avoid over expenditures in the city's financial system due to delays in timing of capital projects with multi-year encumbrances. Requested transfers include system development charge revenues and purchase order adjustments. We also have some actions in the Office of Management and Finance. Due to a significant underspending in the 311 program in the Office of Management and Finance, approximately $600,000 is being reallocated as follows. $225,000 is being transferred to the program's interagency agreement with the Bureau of Technology Services for what's called the ARIBA project, which is the city's financial system procurement software that's being updated. $150,000 is being transferred to special appropriations for the Schnitzer Sewer Project. And $200,000 is being directed to the city's permitting efforts in the 2023-24 budget. And finally, the Division of Asset Management in OMF is requesting to draw down $14.9 million from the City Fleet Operating Fund contingency, $13.8 million of which is for capital costs, including future vehicle purchases and equipment. If you have no questions at this point, or I'll be happy to respond to any questions, but if not, Mr. Mayor, I'll turn this back to you.
All right, very good. Colleagues, any questions at this particular juncture? Commissioner Mapps.
Yeah, thank you very much. There's a bunch of stuff to dig into, and we won't really have the bandwidth to do that today. Director, can you tell us a little bit more about the process that would be employed should the Fire Bureau draw on the capital fund? Frankly, this is the first time I've heard of that particular exercise.
In discussions with the Fire Bureau, and because we had a limited general fund contingency of $3 million, we discussed drawing down on their capital fund in the event that it is required for other over expenditures. And frankly, based upon our last forecast, that will probably be the case, and they will be drawing down on that fund. Does that answer your question, Commissioner?
I think so. And what would those dollars be used for?
Pardon me?
So if we draw on the fire capital fund, can you give me an example of what we might use those dollars for?
Well, the fund is primarily utilized for the purchase of apparatus, being fire trucks or fire pumpers, and any other kind of capital. These are funds that were left over, I believe, from the former capital bond issuance.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll just register one more note. We haven't had a chance to fully digest this. I want my colleagues to know that I'm disappointed by the under expenditure in OMF on 311. We worked hard last budget cycle to get those dollars. The intent of those dollars was to expand capacity over at 311 so that we could reduce wait times over at 911. We seem to have administratively decided that we were not going to do that program. I wish there was more council input before we did that. And I'll just leave that there.
Very good. Colleagues, any other questions at this particular juncture?
Just so I know what I'm voting on, because Commissioner Mapps made some good points. I think we're all doing the best we can. And you explained much of this as administrative edits, if you will, that need to take place as we clean up the final budget. Yes. The one new expense is police, is that correct?
Pardon me?
But the police ask is a new request for money, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that one stuck out in a different way of everything that you read.
The forecast appears to indicate an over expenditure, and that's why we recommended using the remaining $500,000 from contingency to cover that.
All right. And I appreciated Commissioner Mapp's comments about 311. I know we all have a desire to figure out how to keep building that. So, all right. Got it. I have more clarity now. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. We'll now hear and second any amendments for the over expenditure ordinance. To be clear, new actions to amend the document require the information on the purpose, justification, as well as obviously the source of the funds. We'll read each proposed amendment, then we'll seek a second in turn. After all amendments have been placed on the table for discussion, we'll then hear any public testimony on the amendments. As you just heard, I will introduce what I'll call Mayor 1 to allocate the remaining contingency to the Portland Police Bureau. The motion is to make the following adjustments to the over-expenditure ordinance as filed to increase appropriation in the Portland Police Bureau to mitigate the risk of over-expenditure driven by personnel overtime. Increased Bureau program expenses in the Police Bureau's general fund budget by $500,000. Decrease the general fund unrestricted contingency by $500,000 to fund this change. Update Exhibits 1 through 5 as needed to reflect this change. I'm seeking a second.
Second.
Commissioner Ryan seconds. Would any of my colleagues like to offer any other amendments to the over-expenditure ordinance? Seeing none, we will now hear public testimony on Mayor 1. Keelan, has anyone signed up to testify, or does anybody want to testify?
No one signed up.
All right. Very good. Please call the roll on Wheeler 1.
Ryan.
Yeah, we've been in this seat too often hearing about the challenge we have of expending funds. And so actually, I think we're managing some success on this one. And I will acknowledge that we're definitely attracting and hiring more officers. And there was a time not that long ago where that was really not happening. So this is good news, I think. I think it's great that we caught it. We're leveling up. And I want to also just acknowledge all the hiring ceremonies we go to. Have you noticed there's just so much momentum, not just in the size of the class, but in the life experience, the depth and diversity. And you really feel it each time. So it's exciting right now to be a part of a city council that's watching that take off. Anyway, I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
Is that a thumbs up?
You're muted, Commissioner Gonzalez.
He can't unmute.
I think he reconnected.
Oh, can you unmute now?
Yeah, there we go.
Aye.
Yeah, it works. Good.
Good.
All right, thank you.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. Mayor 1 is adopted. Is there any additional discussion before we vote to adopt the over-expenditure ordinance as filed and amended? Keelan, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The emergency ordinance is adopted. Thank you. All right, finally, back to the regular agenda. Item 514, please.
Amend Joint Office of Homeless Services intergovernmental agreement with Multnomah County to implement county revisions.
Our first regular agenda item is 514. It's an amendment to extend the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Portland and Multnomah County with respect to the Joint Office of Homeless Services for one more fiscal year. As a reminder, we voted on and passed this item on May 31st. The Multnomah County Board then voted on the extension with the city's amendments, except for the amended budget language, and subsequently passed the extension. Due to this change, we're required to vote on it again. Chair Jessica Vega-Peterson has committed to a full renegotiation between the city and the county as to the Joint Office of Homeless Services over the course of the next 6 months. Budget processes and true city partnership in every way will be on the table. I look forward to our team's work in hashing out the details to determine the future of this partnership. As I did 3 weeks ago, I'm voting in favor of extending this IGA for one more year so that we may have time for this full renegotiation with the new leadership at the helm of the county and at the joint office. Chair Vega-Peterson and Director Dan Field, of course. I'm also grateful that the county chair, Jessica Vega-Peterson, agreed to advocate for $20 million of the unanticipated funds to go toward the city's temporary alternative shelter sites on an ongoing basis. I appreciate that the chair will champion this funding for the temporary alternative shelter sites to the Board of County Commissioners. This funding is on top of the wraparound services the county has agreed to provide to these sites: mental health services, substance use disorder treatment services, housing placements, and the like. I'm committed to addressing the need of those living unsheltered in our community and those impacted throughout the city of Portland. But clearly, we cannot do this alone. The county must join us in this urgent fight to ensure Portland is the thriving city that we know that it can be and what we expect that it will be. This extension gives both governments an opportunity to reimagine and renew our dedication so that we know the Joint Office of Homeless Services can reach its full potential. Are there any comments or questions before I call for public testimony? Commissioner Mapps.
Yeah, could we get a, so my understanding of how we got here today is the city sent over our version of the joint office contract to we passed it a couple weeks ago, sent it to the county. The county saw some things they didn't like in the contract, and so they amended the contract. Can we get a summary of what's changed in the contract that's before us today?
Yeah, one moment, please. Skylar, who's, I mean, I could.
For the city attorney, but.
I can do it writ large, then I'll turn it over to Skylar. So they agreed to the 3 propositions put forth by Commissioner Ryan. There wasn't much debate around that. They were principles that we readily agreed on. The disagreement was around the degree to which the city should have veto power over the joint office budget. And as I indicated, the chair is certainly open to that discussion. You know, just speaking freely, she didn't say this. I'll just put on the table what I think the concern was from the county's perspective. Now that we have the homeless services measure at the metro level, although Portland was the major financial contributor to the Joint Office of Homeless Services for at least the first 4 years of my tenure, the county now puts in the lion's share, in fact, the significant lion's share of the funding through that regional measure. And so the concern on the part of some in the county would be that we have veto power over dollars beyond what we contributed. And so that's the focus of the conversation as of this moment. Skylar, anything else you would add?
No, I think that's right, and I think we've been very clear that as part of the full renegotiation that will happen for the next 6 months of the IGA in totality, this will be a large part of the discussion because I think City Council has been very clear about wanting some oversight about how our dollars are spent as part of the larger system.
Skylar, can I ask a clarifying question? Yeah. No, I totally understand why the county wouldn't want to give allow the city to have veto power over the entire budget for the joint office, and I'm not advocating for that either. However, I do think that the city should have some influence over how the dollars that we hand to the county are spent. Does this contract give us that power?
No. So it gives us the power over, obviously, the next few months as we do these pretty intense renegotiations to require kind of and demand that power going forward. So this is obviously only a 1-year extension for that reason. I think, to be honest, from what we've heard from City Council and from different offices, that is going to be one of the biggest items on the table and what we require as part of an ongoing partnership.
Okay, so the contract we have today doesn't allow the city to actually say how the joint office dollars that we're handing over to the county are spent. Is that a fair summary?
That's correct. The contract doesn't require it. What we've gotten from the chair and from Director Field is weekly, bi-weekly meetings, basically to discuss how we use that money and also more discussion about how we use and how they use a lot of the SHS dollars, so underspend as well as the unanticipated money as well. But those are just discussions. It's not required under the contract.
Thank you for that clarification. Just to speak to the people of Portland and my colleagues on council, I have a lot of faith in the county chair. I got a lot of faith in the new head of the joint office. I believe that the joint office's mission is important, and I believe the city and the county need to work together to solve houselessness. However, I think it's just kind of flat out crazy that we don't have influence over how our houseless dollars that we hand over to the county are spent. I don't think that any one of us in the various 24 different bureaus that we help manage would sign a similar contract for parks or for roads or for water. This is a unique space where, for reasons which I do not understand, we seem to be relatively indifferent to accountability. So I appreciate the discussion, and I like and trust the people who are participating in these negotiations. However, I remain disappointed and befuddled. And with that, I'll turn the floor over to the mayor.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yeah, I just want to put on the record that there is some disagreement between the city and county on both the way the existing agreement is interpreted, as well as the effects of state budgeting law on what can be done contractually. So in talking with the city attorney's office, there's just different interpretations at the city and county on how state budgeting law would work in this type of relationship. And just wanted to put on the record the acknowledgement there's some just flat out legal disagreement on the status quo that has, unfortunately, I think, made some of this conversation slightly more difficult. And to cut to the chase, I come down similar to where Commissioner Mapps does. I think this is a flawed contract. I think it reflects very poorly on the city that we're sitting over as many dollars as we are without real governance rights, without sufficient fiscal oversight. I deeply appreciate the efforts made by Chair Vega Peterson and by Dan Field to build the relationship with the city. I think there's tremendous efforts being made at both the city and county to foster a more positive relationship between the city and county. And so I want to fully acknowledge that, but the contract is flawed, and good contracts make good friends. This is not a good contract for the city. So I ultimately will be voting no on the proposed amendment here. I just want to also acknowledge one other piece in this process. While I think there was good faith disagreement on the way state budgeting law would impact this agreement and certain interpretations of the existing agreement, I do think that this it appears to be a pattern with the county that's very slow going every time this comes up each year. And the city tends to capitulate on much needed changes. And I just can't see us keep feeding this bear this way. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. And let me just reflect on what you've both said, because you've both made very good comments, and I think you've reached common sense solutions. As a government enterprise and as the elected officers overseeing this government enterprise, we should have a very clear understanding of how our public taxpayer funds are being spent. So that is a fact, and I share your concerns about our lack of ability to impact how the budget of the Joint Office of Homeless Services is spent. After all, it is called the Joint Office, so one would presume that we're making managerial and financial decisions in alignment. And frankly, that's what the public wants. When I, because we do periodically get into disagreements. We certainly did in the past with the prior chair and former individuals who served at Multnomah County about the best path forward around homelessness. The reality is the public expects us to work together, and it is my opinion that we have to work together. The bottom line is the city is responsible for safety. We are responsible for public right-of-way management. We, in fact, just settled a lawsuit with the ADA community who rightfully demanded access to the sidewalks and the public spaces that they pay for along with everybody else. People expect our parks and our roadways and our sidewalks and our greenways to be clear and safely accessible by all citizens. That's where we have the personnel, we have the expertise, but the reality is to solve homelessness, meaning rather than moving people around or criminalizing homelessness at the exclusion of other strategies, the problem we run into is we don't have the behavioral health services, the county does. We don't have the substance use disorder treatment services, the county. We don't have the navigation services into low-income, affordable, or supportive housing. The county does. So in order for us to both maintain the integrity of our public right-of-ways and safety in the community and provide compassionate off-ramps from people who are homeless or addicted or whatever into better circumstances, we must necessarily partner with that jurisdiction which has the funds both from the federal and the state level for health care, for behavioral health, for substance use disorder, access to navigation services and other services that we don't provide. We don't have the expertise and we don't have the streams of funding for here at the City of Portland. So from my perspective, it is worth it to take a little more time here and give the chair the opportunity to prove that her word is good, that she will continue to advocate amongst her commissioners, along with all of us, I hope. This should not be a passive process for any of us as individual elected officials. We should also be lobbying each and every one of the city or the county commissioners aggressively. I know I am. And I would encourage us all to work hard between now and December to get that partnership that I would like to see, that I think is the most effective win-win strategy for all of us as well as the residents of this city, and one that puts us in alignment with the kind of partnership that the public expects and that we should be engaged in. So that's sort of my quick response to you. I hear you, I agree with you, but let's give this chair and Dan Field a little more time to show that they can help us bring this partnership into a more positive alignment. Any other questions? Is there any public testimony?
We had one person sign up.
All right.
Let's see, we have Alan Combs.
Welcome.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you, Mayor Wheeler. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Alan Combs, pronouns he, him. I have spoken to you before. So before you is the 17th Amendment of the Joint Office of Homeless Intergovernmental Agreement. And I won't call out, I understand that it's an extension, but it's calling out to update and finalize new public-facing data dashboards, collectively determine budget allocations from various funding sources, and jointly determine impact measures that will support accountability and oversight. The public outcry over accountability and results does not need to be repeated by me, but given that the amendment explicitly calls out that meaningful metrics are still being worked on, I am compelled to come today and raise a few things before you. The amendment does call out the need for data, and I'm going to note that, to my knowledge, a client registry that has been proven by Built for Zero still hasn't gotten off the ground. Multnomah County Commissioner Amiran has spoken most eloquently about this, and I know some of you commissioners have as well. I simply ask you, how can you address addiction and mental health issues of people who are living on our streets without being able to track who they are and what services they need? Second, I was pleased to hear the budgetary number that Mayor Wheeler just put out. I think it was 20 million, but the only thing that I've seen in the news was that Commissioner Multnomah County Chair Peterson has called out $4 million to run the city's planned outdoor encampments. So that does not sound like enough. And my point is that more public-facing dashboards on just how many resources have been allocated is sorely needed. Third, I'd like to point out that the opioid crisis is going to get worse before it gets better. We're still grappling with how to treat people addicted to fentanyl. The old methods are not working, even with fentanyl. And in the last week, addiction medicine and clinic medical director, Dr. James Laidler, reported out that another group of opioids that is out on the East Coast will be here to the West Coast before too long. He calls out novel and troubling drugs. I'm not a medical expert, but I take that very seriously, and I hope you are too. And lastly, I'd like to raise up a another comment that was on the airwaves in the last week. It was by Ebony Clark, who was appointed by Governor Kotek as the Behavioral Health Director of the Oregon Health Authority. In a June 16th interview, she called out that I encourage you to listen to that we need to take a more intentional, collaborative approach. Besides just relying on the behavioral system, healthcare system, we have to also start to be more intentional and step up into our thought partnership with our first responders and law enforcement. I encourage you to listen to the whole interview, but listen to what she's saying. She needs help, and the city does run the first responders and law enforcement, and it's time for the city to step up. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate your input. All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, this is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. Next item, 515.
Adopt the annual budget of the city and establish appropriations for the fiscal year.
Thanks, Skylar, appreciate it.
Beginning-
Good.
Sorry.
Did you finish? I'm sorry, Keelan.
Beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024.
Thank you. Good afternoon, colleagues. Last week, we took a series of steps as part of the adoption of the fiscal year 2023-24 budget as prescribed by Oregon state law. We held a hearing to discuss the proposed use for state shared revenue. We passed a resolution certifying that the city meets eligibility requirements for state shared revenue. We passed an ordinance accepting the state shared revenue. We passed an ordinance levying taxes. And we had the first reading of the fiscal year 23-24 adopted budget ordinance, where we heard public testimony and we opened the floor for any amendments by the city council. I want to take this opportunity to thank our city budget office director Tim Grew and deputy director Christy Owen for stepping council through the high-level technical changes detailed in this ordinance last week, but that was only the tip of the iceberg in terms of the amount of time, energy they spent on this for all of us. Today, the council will take the final step in adopting the fiscal year 23-24 adopted budget ordinance. Is there any further discussion before we call the roll? Seeing none, Keelan, please call the roll.
Ryan.
I echo my thanks to you and your staff. It's been, as always, a lot of work and a big journey. I'm sure you're looking forward to this vote being over with. A budget is an action plan, and when done thoughtfully, resources are directed, correlated to outcomes in public that the public can actually see and understand. This budget reflects what Portlanders are calling for: support for communities and individuals impacted by homelessness, improve community safety, support for businesses, accountability, and a commitment to clean, safe, and accessible neighborhoods and public spaces. When I think of community safety, I want to reflect a little bit on the last person who testified, because we are facing a poisonous drug crisis that we've never seen before. And we're going to continue to be humbled by this, our response to this. And so I know that I appreciate the dialogue we've had on this point about the increase of drug activity of fentanyl and just the mind-boggling confusion from experts on how we're going to deal with the withdrawal period and treatment for too many who are harming themselves and others on our streets. That is, I think, the biggest issue facing our city and our state. That said, we have allocated funds to improve affordable housing options and implemented a community-supported approach to tackle neighborhood challenges. One of the cornerstones of this budget is our commitment to public safety, and we have committed to strengthening our police and fire departments to ensure the security of our neighborhoods. In my own service area, culture and livability, we've allocated funds for activation of downtown plazas and parks, committed to build capacity for the city arts program, and are operationalizing equity in our community and directed investments to repair relationships between neighborhood groups and the city. This budget reflects a shared vision and commitment for building resilient, inclusive, and a sustainable city. It's a testament to our dedication to build a city we can all be proud of. It is a result of countless hours of collaboration, research, and deliberation. I'm proud to cast my vote in favor of this budget. Together, we continue working towards progress and prosperity. I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
I just want to state I appreciate the key investments in public safety, including Portland Police, as well as our RV funding restoration, at least for a year, for Portland Fire. That supplements what we did in the spring bump for further authorizations for firefighters. The city is making key investments in its public safety apparatus that I think is so crucial right now. There's further work to be done, as specified in the budget notes, with respect to overtime, training pipeline, and call allocation, as well as planning the future public safety in the new form of government. That's will be work done over the next 6 months. With that, I vote aye.
Maps.
Mr. Mayor, colleagues, let me start out by echoing a theme that the mayor and Commissioner Ryan and Commissioner Gonzalez pointed out. I want to thank the CBO staff and Director Grew for their work on this year's budget. I also want to thank staff over at BES, PBOT, and Water for their contributions to this spending plan. And finally, I want to recognize staff in my City Hall office for their tireless efforts to make this budget better. Now, today, I'm going to vote no on this budget, but before I explain my no vote, I want to highlight some elements of this budget which I do support. For example, this budget makes important investments in houseless services. In addition, this budget makes major investments in our city's livability by directing $3.7 million to improving lighting, removing graffiti, and picking up litter. And I also support and advocated for $2 million to address derelict RVs on our streets. I should also point out that this budget makes important investments in public safety. For example, this budget will allow the city to hire more police officers. This budget will allow us to step up our efforts to fight car and retail thefts. And this budget will finally equip our police force with body-worn cameras. Now, these public safety reforms are long overdue. Here's one more thing I like about this budget. This budget will allow Portland's Water Bureau and the Bureau of Environmental Services to offer utility assistance to more than 20,000 low-income Portlanders who live in apartment buildings. Colleagues, this is a very big deal, and I want to thank this council and Water and BES staff for making that reform possible. Well, there are parts of this budget which I support. There are also elements to this budget which I do not support. For example, I have at least 3 existential concerns about this spending plan. For example, when it comes to water and environmental services, this budget is penny wise and pound foolish. Second, this budget fails to meet our community's transportation needs. And third, while this council is obliged to pass a balanced budget, it is not clear to me that the budget that we are voting on today actually pencils out. Now, let me take a moment to elaborate on my concerns. Let's start with the public utilities. As the commissioner in charge of Portland's Water Bureau and the Bureau of Environmental Services, I am obliged to warn this council and the people of Portland that the utility rates that are contained in this budget do not cover the cost of providing water and sewer services to the people of Portland. The underfunding of our water and environmental services is a new and dangerous budget dynamic. This rate schedule that's in this budget will require the Water Bureau to eliminate the equivalent of 25 positions or find $42 million in reductions to the Bureau's capital program. And this budget will require environmental services to eliminate the equivalent of 33 positions or find $78 million in reductions to the Bureau's capital program. Now, this council adopted utility rates which require cuts of this magnitude based on the argument that saving the average Portland family about $1.50 a month on their water and sewer bill will somehow stop people from moving out of Portland. Now, I agree Portland's recent population loss is concerning. However, I'm confident that the water bill is not the primary force driving Portlanders out of the city. Instead, Portlanders are obviously leaving because crime is too high and houselessness is out of control. Now, let me elaborate on my concerns about the PBOT budget. This budget, frankly, does a terrible job of addressing Portland's transportation needs. As we all know, the city of Portland's financial model for paying for its transportation system is broken. Simply put, revenues from gas taxes are in decline because cars are becoming more energy efficient, and revenues from parking meters are in decline because more people are working from home. Due to this dynamic, PBOT is entering its 5th year of budget cuts. Current forecasts call for PBOT to cut approximately $32 million in fiscal year 24-25. Now, I think everyone on this council knows that I'm not opposed to process improvements, and I'm deeply committed to finding efficiencies at PBOT. At the same time, Portland's transportation system cannot absorb $32 million in cuts in the next fiscal year through simple belt tightening. To be blunt, the budget which this council will pass today will result in dirtier, more dangerous, and less navigable streets and sidewalks. Colleagues, my third bucket of concerns boils down to this. This council is obliged to pass a balanced budget. However, it's not clear to me that the budget we are about to pass today is actually balanced. For example, in recent weeks, this council has agreed to several expenditures for the next fiscal year which are not included in the budget we are voting on today. For example, I believe there are new and imminent labor agreements which are not baked into this budget. In addition, it is not clear to me that this budget fully funds the public financing of city council elections. Colleagues, the pattern of facts before us suggests that by passing the budget before us today, this council is writing checks which we cannot afford to cash, which is why I vote no.
Rubio.
I want to thank the mayor and his team for leading the council through another budget process, and to the budget team for all your tremendous work. We don't always see all the behind the scenes heavy lifting that you do, so I want to say thank you for that. This year was a hard year. There was a fine line between our needed and available resources to carry out the very important policies and programs that this city and its employees do every day. And I want to thank the members of the public who in various ways shared with us their priorities for the budget. And ultimately, I do believe we have a budget that largely reflects our shared priorities. And as the housing commissioner, I know that the housing crisis and homelessness across our city requires of us the utmost urgency. And Portlanders have told us as much loudly and clearly. And having safe and strong communities and neighborhoods in all corners of our city and our downtown, the reinvigoration of tourism and hospitality industries, and the ability for small businesses to get back on their feet to thriving are all urgent goals, and are also indicators of movement toward a healthy community. And this budget keeps us moving in that direction. It's also important that the public know that the work and actions we undertake every day are moving us to concretely tackle our shared challenges of our recovery, community safety, and housing, and also working to ensure communities see progress. And again, this budget enables us to continue the important momentum to get us there. So thanks again to everyone who weighed in and to all the employees who had a hand in preparing this budget. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
Well, first of all, I want to thank my staff. And I want to put them first because as I look at my talking points, they didn't even write themselves into the script. And they put in literally thousands and thousands of hours into this budget process. I particularly want to thank Sarah and Haley. I want to thank you, and Bobby, thank you, and many, many other members of my staff contributed mightily to each of the individual portions of this budget. So I want to thank you. You're a great team. You're hard workers. Your hearts are in the right place, and you understand the fiscal challenges facing the city and understand that there are always going to be hard trade-offs in any budget we ever support. I want to thank my fellow commissioners who, I think this year more than any other year have really dug into the budget, into the details. Their staffs have asked lots and lots of good questions. They wanted to be available and engaged. And I think that's made a difference. I think that's made this budget better. I always like to think the proposed budget is as nearly perfect as possible, but of course it never is. And when my colleagues help shape it from that point on, I can almost uniformly say it's an improved product as a result. So I really want to thank my commissioners and their staffs. And the bureaus, the unheralded heroes of all of this, every one of our bureaus spend a tremendous amount of time and exert tremendous energy and frankly experience a lot of frustration, particularly in a year like this. And they don't really get the thank yous that they deserve as the leaders of our bureaucracy, and I use bureaucracy in the positive sense here. They do the actual work for us in the community, and they've been mightily engaged in this process from the very beginning, and I want to thank them for all of the many, many months they've put into this. And I appreciate, of course, the city budget office. You guys are just great. Tim and Christy, the whole team has just been really phenomenal and very engaged and answered all of our questions and held our hands as we were ushered through this budget process. I really respect you. I respect the work you do. It's fantastic. And Tim, as somebody who's utterly failed in retirement, it's good to have you back and bringing so many years of really important experience to the table. We're lucky to have you here right now and being able to lean on some of the experience that you have developed over decades in this field. I think collectively, all of us, we've produced a budget that builds upon the solid foundation we established in previous budget cycles. This reflects clearly our shared priorities as we have stated them, and it implements the bold changes Portlanders have called for within city government and within their community. And I don't need to really reiterate this, but I will just for the historical record. As my final point, we know that our challenges are homelessness, they are public safety, they are economic recovery, and livability issues ring large. There are important issues here to everybody in the community, and we know it. And on top of all of that, this year of all years, we are completely reinventing Portland city government in accordance with the ballot measure that was overwhelmingly passed by Portlanders 2 years ago. We have an obligation to open government on January 1st, 2025 under a completely new form of government. And that requires a lot of time and energy and bandwidth and dollars to make that work. And so we're doing that on top of everything else. So when I look at this in its totality, I think this budget is great. Is it perfect? No, of course it's not perfect. But it's a good collective effort, and we should all be proud of it. I vote aye. The ordinance is adopted and the budget is approved. Thank you for your great work. We will take a 5-minute break, please. We're in recess.
Recording stop.
We're back in session. 516, please.
Accept recommendation to replace compliance officer community liaison appointment and authorize chief procurement officer to execute contract negotiations with CNA Corporation.
Colleagues, as part of our settlement agreement with the Department of Justice, the city must ensure that there's a compliance officer community liaison, otherwise known as a COCL. The current COCL, Dr. Dennis Rosenbaum, announced his retirement at the end of the fiscal year. We wish him very well in his retirement. Earlier this year, upon learning of Dr. Rosenbaum's retirement, my office began a special procurement process for replacement COCL, which Council authorized in March. To report back on the results of that selection process, we have Sarah Ames from the City Attorney's Office and Stephanie Howard from the Mayor's Office. Welcome to both of you. And I assume Sarah's online since I don't
She is online.
see
Good
her
morning.
here. Hi, Sarah.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Stephanie Howard. I am the Mayor's Director of Community Safety. As this council may recall, back in March, when we learned about Dr. Rosenbaum's retirement, we came to council with a request to start a process, a special procurement process to obtain a replacement COCL. And this, again, for context, is against a backdrop where we as the city are having very constructive negotiations with the Department of Justice about whether we transition to an independent monitor. But to ensure that we remain in compliance and did not miss a beat on our compliance reports, we did want to ensure we have a replacement in case that agreement had not been reached by the time Dr. Rosenbaum left us. Happily, we endeavored in a process where we included community in a selection. I will ask Sarah to speak to some of the outreach that was done to recruit candidates, but to overview the process that we went forward with council's permission, we posted the listing. We recruited representatives from the amici in the settlement agreement, our case with the DOJ, to screen candidates, to interview candidates, and also we held a town hall where we allowed the public at large to question the top 2 scoring candidates from our review process. Sarah, would you mind giving an overview of the efforts that City Attorney's Office did to recruit candidates?
Yeah, absolutely, Mayor, Commissioners. We did recognize that this is a very specialized field. Just posting on the city website was not going to recruit candidates. We contacted both the Department of Justice, the Albina Ministerial Alliance Coalition, the Mental Health Alliance, and the Portland Police Association, who are all involved in the court case, to spread the word through their circuits. We advertised the position with the National Association for Civilian Oversight of Law Enforcement, NACOL, and I reached out to the Portland State University Department of Criminology and Criminal Justice because some of their grad students actually have been members of the COCL team, and I thought they might have some other contacts in this field. And finally, I contacted and publicized the position through Tarleton University, which hosts an annual conference for all the cities that are involved in consent decrees and settlement agreements with the Department of Justice, well attended with members of monitoring teams from around the country, members of police forces, attorneys' offices, and Department of Justice and judges. So that was one other way that we sought to get the job out.
And understandably, because there's some uncertainty around the longevity of this position, we really did want to make a good effort to invite candidates to be part of this settlement agreement and to submit proposals. In the end, we did narrow it down through that selection process to 2 candidates, and ultimately the top scoring candidate was Dr. Thomas Christoph. Dr. Christoph is part of the current COCL team working with Dr. Rosenbaum, which I think will make our transition a very smooth one and will allow him to hit the ground running so that we do not lose ground during the period of compliance that we want to ensure is being reported on. So council, today what we have is the report out on that process. I'm happy to answer any questions, but with your approval, we would proceed to engage in a contract with Dr. Christoph as the replacement COCL.
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions? Do you have public testimony on this item?
We have one person signed up, Mark Porras.
Hi, Mark.
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Mark Boris. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm with the group Portland Cop Watch. We're testifying today to express thanks for continuity in oversight of the U.S. DOJ settlement agreement, even as the city contemplates replacing the COCL with a court monitor. We're a little confused about the math behind Dr. Christoph's winning bid, which was for $797,000, while the contract being awarded today is for $493,000, similar to the current COCL's contract amount. We're not sure who the project manager is for this contract, but we hope that scrutiny is given to ensure Portland gets its money's worth. And here's some items the current COCL has done well and others that need improvement. Portland Cop Watch appreciates that the COCL has made a point to address the disparities in stop data these last few years. The Bureau has not done much to change the over-policing of the Black community. Even with new rules limiting the reasons to initiate traffic stops, there are still 3 to 4 times the percentage of Black drivers pulled over compared to Portland's population. The COCL has also continued raising good questions about the Bureau's shifting definitions of de-escalation. Their most recent report highlighted a case where an officer boxed in a suspect's vehicle using their patrol car and noted that that is not de-escalation. There's never been an analysis done of the deadly force used by PPB, even though over 50 incidents have occurred since the DOJ agreement was signed in 2012, and the percentage of people killed by police while in mental health crisis has gone up, not down. 17 people were shot or shot at in 2021-22, and still no analysis has been done. On the topic of deadly force, the COCL casually accepted the Bureau's claim that they needed to change the policy around releasing officer names in shooting incidents, so the timeline is now 15 days rather than 24 hours. No question was raised about the other agencies in the area who release names far more quickly, or whether the alleged threat used to justify that change still exists. The agreement says that any change to a policy covering use of force has to be put out for public input before being finalized, yet the chief made that change without community input. As we've noted before, particularly when testifying about settlements paid out in individual cases, the agreement requires the COCL to publish data on the payouts made by the city for police misconduct. Paragraph 170E requires the number, nature, and settlement amount of civil suits against PPB officers. We will also repeat that if the city goes with a court monitor, that person needs to have ties to and a presence in Portland. Both Dr. Christoph and his former mentor, Dr. Rosenbaum, hailed from Chicago. The person who failed to get the contract despite a lower bid, Dr. Richard Rosenthal, lives in Vancouver, BC. It's difficult to raise concerns with people who aren't in the community. As we said in recent testimony, if the city does choose a court monitor, there must be key personnel who are local to the Pacific Northwest and required to engage with the people of Portland, not just PPB, the city, the DOJ, and the court. One more thing, the lieutenant of the behavioral health unit told council several months ago that other than the compliance officer's reports, there has not been an independent audit of the BHU, which was created in 2012 to address the way PPB interacts with people in mental health crisis. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Mark. And Mark, just a heads up, your lens looks like it's got it's a little bit foggy. Probably needs a clean off there.
Right on, thanks.
Thanks for your testimony. I'll entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Commissioner Rubio moves. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Ryan seconds. Keelan, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Stephanie. And thank you, Sarah Ames. Dr. Christoph has extensive experience with our previous COCL team and compliance assessment, has in-depth involvement with each section of the settlement agreement. I'm very pleased to see Dr. Christoph and his team selected as the city's new compliance officer. I accept the report.
Gonzalez.
I accept the report.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
I want to thank Dr. Rosenbaum for his years of work with the COCL and in the community. And I'm hopeful that Dr. Christoph will continue working with and improving upon the goals of the group. I also want to thank the community that was involved in the process, particularly members of the AMA, the Coalition for Justice and Police Reform, and the Mental Health Alliance, who took time to interview candidates and provide important feedback. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Sarah, for your work on this important process. Obviously, maintaining compliance while we navigate the question of an independent monitor is critically important. I recognize the time and the effort put into ensuring that there's no gap in oversight once Dr. Rosenbaum retires, while continuing in mediation with the Department of Justice. These ongoing negotiations made recruiting for this position particularly challenging, as the longevity of a replacement COCL is still very much an open question, but I know that there was a significant effort made to attract qualified candidates. I'm pleased with and appreciative of the proposals we received, so thank you for that. I want to also express my gratitude to the community members and city staff who participated in the process during application screening, interviews, and at the town hall. Your input and your feedback was tremendously helpful. Now that the process is completed, I look forward to continuing to work with Dr. Tom Kristoff, who has been part of the current COCL team. His experience and familiarity with the settlement agreement will undoubtedly make this a smooth transition and ensure that there are no gaps in compliance reporting. Thank you to Dr. Rosenbaum for serving as the COCL for many years and for his willingness to assist with Dr. Kristoff's transition as the new COCL. I vote aye, and the report is accepted. Thank you. Commissioner Gonzalez, I also want to just say I did not see until the break here that you had sent a statement on Pride. Did you want to go ahead and read that? I know it's a little out of sequence, but did you want to read that into the record?
I think with my sound, it's going to be difficult, so we'll release it separately.
Okay. What's that?
That's the first time he's been really clear.
Yeah. You mean in terms of the sound quality? Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
No, stop.
Okay, I've stopped. Okay. Let's see, where are we? 516, we did 517, please. This is second reading.
Amend small donor elections program code to consolidate primary and general elections to align with the voter-approved charter amendments in Portland Measure 26-228.
Colleagues, this is a second reading of a non-emergency ordinance. Any further discussion on this item before we call the roll? Please call the roll.
Ryan?
Colleagues, as I said when I pulled this from the consent agenda on June 7th, I'm a very big fan of campaign finance reform, and I've been very impressed with this program that former Commissioner Fritz started when it was called something else, Accountable Elections, and then it moved to small donor. And I really want this program to succeed. Well, I brought this up, and I also brought this issue up to the Charter Commission when I had the opportunity to meet with them. And I kept asking them, how are you crosswalking the nation's most progressive campaign finance reform with your work? My concerns continue to remain, as I brought up on June 6th, around budget and service levels. I was and remain concerned that we are not properly resourced for this work. I asked the very capable people running our small donor program with 9 additional races than previously experienced in 2020 and 2022, and as such, are we resourced to steward this program? The answer was no. We need an additional $500K in the fall, projected minimum, in the fall bump, and an additional $4 million in the 24-25 budget to be well resourced. The second question I asked, and I assume we must also increase staffing to meet 3 times the need. Is that the plan? The answer was no. So I will repeat, no matter how noble the intent of this program, it will not help anyone if it runs out of money and can't help people that it's created to serve. Each time this has come to council, I've asked for more clarity on how the program will be adequately resourced by this vote, and I have not received that clarity. Therefore, I can, in good conscience, vote for this as written, and I do not see the adequate funding plan from those bringing this forward. As written, there is no plan to address the increased level of services that will be needed, and for these reasons, at this moment, I vote no.
Gonzalez?
I share many of Commissioner Ryan's concerns about the funding model here and to deliver on the promise of taking big dollars out of campaigns. This is not a small topic, it's significant. That if folks can't adequately fund their campaigns through this program, you are going to fail at taking big dollars out of campaigns. Having said that, I think the amendments proposed are doing what they're promising to do in terms of aligning the code provisions with the requirements of the new charter. So I'm voting yes in favor of this, but sharing the concerns around budget that we need to work through in the coming months.
Maps.
I'll echo the concerns that Commissioner Ryan and Commissioner Gonzalez voiced about funding this program. That indeed is part of the reason I voted against the budget. I don't see for next fiscal year, frankly, I don't see the budget we just passed fully funding the program that we're about to implement today. I have concerns about that. I'm not sure how we're going to fix this. But in the meantime, I will press forward and vote aye.
Rubio.
I want to appreciate the work of the Portland Elections Commission to align the small donor elections program with the charter change. As my colleagues are aware, the charter committee required that all seats be up for election during the 2024 election cycle, and that number of seats and their potential number of candidates is unprecedented. I want to recognize that the Portland Elections Commission put its best thinking on predicting the funding needed for this program. And we will all be watching the spending of this program closely, and based on what happens on the election front, revisit the budget for the current fiscal year during the fall bump process later this fall if needed. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
I vote aye. The report's accepted. Thank you, Commissioner Rubio, and thanks for everyone who worked on this. Next item, 518, please. I think this is our last item today. Yeah, it's a report.
Certify abstract of votes cast and proclaim measure 26-240 approved at the municipal nonpartisan special election held on May 16th, 2023.
We are privileged to have Auditor Simone Reddy here today to present this item. You have been very patient sitting here throughout the entirety of this meeting. I want to thank you very much for your patience, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Mayor Wheeler, and good afternoon, commissioners. Happy birthday, Commissioner Ryan, and happy Pride to all. My name is Simone Reddy. I'm Portland City Auditor, and I'm happy to be here. My office is responsible for reporting the official election results through our oversight of city elections. The report that my staff are prepared to give you provides the official results of the municipal nonpartisan special election that was held May 16th, 2023 in the city of Portland. Report data is generated from the certified abstracts of votes from Multnomah, Washington, and Clackamas counties. After this meeting, my office will post the results on the city elections website. With me today is James Eccles, elections analyst. He's going to deliver the report, and he can also answer questions that you might have about it. And our newly returned elections officer, Louise Hansen, is also here to help answer questions that you might have of our office. And we're very grateful for her recent return from maternity leave. I also want to acknowledge our partners in Clackamas, Washington, and Multnomah counties for their partnership in certifying the results of votes cast in their jurisdictions. And I will turn it over to James to deliver the report.
Thank you, Madam Auditor, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Today we will give you the report on the special election that occurred on May 16th. Now, the only item on the ballot exclusively for City of Portland voters was the renewal of the children's levy. This passed by a wide margin in all three counties. There were 138,088 Portland voters who voted for the measure, and it passed with 71% of the vote. This is a large margin. As this was a special election in an off year, election turnout was expected to be low, certainly lower than the November election, which was 61.4% turnout. Although only 30.5% of registered voters in the city of Portland took part in the ballot measure, this is actually exceeds historical numbers for special elections of this type. In November of in 2021 and 2019, we had May special elections, and we had roughly 25% turnout and less than 17% turnout, respectively. So this number is actually higher than average, especially considering there were no Portland City candidates on the ballot, and this was the only measure. Although low voter turnout is typical in these types of elections nationwide, it may still be worth looking into programs that could boost voter turnout in off years, as this is a pretty low turnout
in general. As part of these reports, we also track voter registration. We take a snapshot of voter registration at each election that occurs. We took a snapshot in the November election. We took a snapshot again in May. May voter registration in Portland was at 453,225, which is a drop from November of 8,236. Now, although this is a marginal drop of just 1.8%, we do typically expect to see an increase. There's historically been an increase in voter registration since the passage of the motor voter laws, and we have had very high voter registration. Without further study, it's impossible for us to be certain why this has happened. We can guess at some of the causes, but I wouldn't want to speculate without further studies on why this small drop has occurred. The last thing I want to talk about is the cost of the election. Any special election that does not take place either during the primary in May or the general election in November every other year, the City of Portland has to share the cost in that election. The cost depends on how many jurisdictions there are participating in it and whatever we actually have on the ballot. We had just one measure on the ballot, and the estimated cost from Multnomah County is $110,000. The invoice, they expect to send us the invoice for this by July 15th, so we'll have a final cost for you. But this does align historically with special elections of this type. In November of 2019, we had a special election that was $280,000, and May 2017, $106,000. So the cost is pretty typical and has already been approved approved that it will cost, but this will come in the fall bump. With that in mind, that is the completion of the report. We only had one item, so it's pretty simple and straightforward, but we're happy to answer any questions you have about the process.
Very good. Colleagues, any questions? I did have one, James. You touched on a really interesting thought there. Given that it is a special election, and given that there was one item on it, one that's very familiar, I think, to many voters, if not most voters at this point, and it's a reliable, safe yes vote, the children's levy. What other strategies would you suggest? Do you suggest there might be ways to build turnout? What sort of strategies would you suggest we look at?
Well, it's not a discussion we've had as an office, but there are certainly strategies in play. We currently don't do much to advertise the special elections. I think there's a lot around building up to November elections and candidate elections. And especially once we move away from candidates being elected in a primary in Portland, we could actually expect to see similar numbers even during a primary year, because we won't necessarily have Portland City candidates on the ballot. But there are typical get out the vote programs that we could either look to partner with and see what, bring those to Portland. There are get out the vote programs in Portland. The city itself could look to do more. We've talked about, we actually have recently reacquired our outreach coordinator in the auditor's office. So we could look to have a program where we talk more about the election and draw attention to it. Now, I do want to say that nobody in the country has been successful at getting people to show up to these types of elections. 30% is actually pretty decent. 25% is more typical when there are no relevant candidates on the ballot, and everybody, it's a measure that people kind of expect, like you said, they kind of know what's going to happen anyway. But there are some minor things that we could look to do and do further study, and that's something that I'd want to work with my colleagues and come back to you about best practices.
Yeah, and you raised a really interesting question. It's something Commissioner Mapps mentioned. Oh, he has his hand up, so I'll just let him mention it. But we don't have a primary election anymore, starting with the new form of government, and that will change the dynamic. And I'm sure you're thinking a lot about how it might change the dynamic. Does it change your workflow requirements?
Well, one nice thing is that although we won't have any candidates on that ballot, it will still be considered a biennial primary election, so we don't have to cover any costs. So whatever additional work that we do, it won't be an extra cost to the city of Portland. As far as our workflow, this first year we actually don't expect there to be a lot of change because people haven't adjusted yet. People are still going to campaign early. They're still going to they're still going to look to our office for updated rules and for information and training on how to be a candidate and how to comply with our laws. But in future years, as people get used to there not being a primary, we do expect there will probably be a shift a little later in the calendar year. It also condenses our filing deadline. We don't file, normally we'd be filing much earlier in the year because you file for the primary. Now we won't be filing until June 5th of 2024.
Have you thought about what your holidays look like in the future? I mean, with ranked choice voting and potentially many, many, many candidates running in the November election, since there will not be a May primary to cull the field down. I mean, that strikes me as just being a huge workload. When will you have to have the November results certified in order for people to take office on January 1st?
So that doesn't change under law, so it'll continue to be, Multnomah County has 21 days to sort of compile the abstract and then get it to us, and then we will have 12 days to report it to you once they get it to us. Well, they have 21 days to certify it, and then they usually take another few days beyond that to compile the results.
But it will
and
be
get it to
harder
us.
with ranked choice voting, won't it? I mean, you're going to have to go through and validate all of the math on...
It will be harder behind the scenes, but we don't expect it to change. We talked about this when we were addressing the changes in the code, and we didn't expect there to be an addition. That 21 days is set so that you can challenge ballots, so that we can make sure that mail-in ballots that are already common in Portland, people already understand that system. It's been around for a long time. So because that doesn't change, we still expect ballots to come in on time, to be processed very quickly. That's all in place. The biggest difference, and really I would say this is really under the county's purview, it's not something we would deal with, but the biggest difference is you just have to have more ballots in place before you begin the counting, but the counting still goes very quickly once you do have those ballots in place. And generally, that 21-day deadline is more of a buffer than we're not hitting 21 days. It's something under code. So
very good. Thanks, James. I appreciate it. Commissioner Mapps.
Yes, just a quick clarification. During your presentation, you mentioned that something was going to come to the fall bump. Could you expand on what's coming to the fall bump, what it needs to be spent on, how much? And it sounded like you already have the dollars there, which I don't think I understand in the context of bump.
Yeah, well, first I'll say the dollar figure we have, which is $110,000. It's typical for the elections, but that's an estimate that the county has given us. July 15th is the date they've given us to give the final invoice, so that's when we'll know what the final number is once they calculate out. It's a value that we share with all the other jurisdictions that end up on that ballot. As far as it being on the fall bump, I would actually, Louise, maybe you could speak to more about, you've been here before when we've done it, so I don't know if you could speak more to the process for that.
Excuse me. It is typical that whatever the next spring or fall bump that's upcoming, when we have a special election, that we would make a request for general funds in order to help cover that election.
Okay.
That's a typical process we've done in the past.
Okay, so you're expecting to come to the fall bump with a ask for 110 is the bottom line?
Somewhere around 110. Again, that's just an estimate that the county has given us until they can get us a more finalized number.
Do we, just a little bit of history here, I guess because of special elections, they're hard to predict, so we don't budget for it? Like, I'm kind of confused as to why this goes through the bump process as opposed to a regular budgeting process.
Well, I can tell you that there are a lot of unknown factors in each special elections. How many measures actually end up being brought by how many jurisdictions. That kind of determines what the cost is going to be. So since those are always in flux, sometimes you get a measure at the very last filing day, come on board. It's really difficult to estimate completely what you might be facing with a special election. We've had special elections in the past where we were the only item on the ballot, and then we ended up having to absorb the entire cost of the special election. So it's just hard to know. This particular election had several different jurisdictions that had one or more measures on there. So we are all splitting the cost, which is nice for us because we don't have to pay as much when that is the case on the ballot.
Yeah, this will be less than we have seen in the past where there are fewer jurisdictions, and at least the estimated cost is less.
Thank you very much for that clarification, and I guess I'm fine with the process. I'll just point out to my colleagues, we've had about 3 votes this morning, 1 on the budget. We just heard a vote on the small donors election where we heard that they're going to need to go to the fall bump for about 400, 500K. Looks like the auditor's going to have to come back for 110K to pay for this. We're putting a lot of pressure on this fall bump, and I think that we've heard from the economists we expect the fall bump to be modest to non-existent, which is a theme for the day. With that, that's only tangentially related to the material aspects of this ordinance. I have no more questions.
Thank you. Colleagues, any further questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Commissioner Ryan moves. Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Rubio seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Keelan, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Yes, thank you, Madam Auditor, and happy Pride to you. And also to James and to Louise, and welcome back. I hope everything is just great at home. Yeah.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Commissioner Ryan.
Yeah, nice of you. It's a little embarrassing to work in a council meeting on your birthday.
Oh, we could have made it much more embarrassing.
If you sang, yeah. But no, congratulations to the City of Portland for renewing the Portland Children's Levy. I also need to thank labor and business and individuals that came together in quite a beautiful collective. As you know, there's quite an increase in taxes sentiment out there. Hence the other measure that was on the ballot from the county, which it will help our invoicing, right? Since that one had a lot of votes as well. But people do want to put kids first, and it is our long-term investment in our city. And coming out of COVID, it's been really rough on our children. At least we have data that proves that. I think it's been rough on adults as well. But the reentry with our children has been really, really challenging. Just hug especially any middle school teacher that's on their summer break right now. They really had one heck of a year, and they're on the front lines always. So I want to acknowledge the teachers and those who work directly with children and youth. And together we'll keep improving our results. And I'm glad that I live in a city that no matter what's going on, we're going to vote at a very high percentage for our children, over 70%. We were quite shocked, actually. Anyway, I'm happy to accept the report. I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
I vote aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Thank you, Madam Auditor, and then also James and Louise for this report and the conversation today. Really appreciate your work on this, and I learned a lot today, so I vote aye.
Wheeler.
Thank you, Auditor Reddy. We appreciate your leadership on this. James, great presentation. Thank you for answering our questions. Louise, thank you for answering our questions, and congratulations. And one more time, everybody, happy birthday to Commissioner Dan Ryan, 39 years old.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.
Yeah, so no afternoon meeting, yeah.